Today, I'm going to compare two screen recording tools, Loom and Tella. As you can tell from this video, I am not a fancy content creator. I am a web designer and I live in New York City in a tiny apartment. I don't have a fancy recording studio with a great background. I don't have a fancy camera, but I do need to record tutorials and online courses to help show people how to use Squarespace. So I needed to find a tool that was easy to use and affordable that would help my videos look as beautiful as possible. And I explored a couple different options. So today I'm going to show you both Loom and Tella, give you a quick overview and explain why I decided Tella was the best tool for my business. So let's start by comparing the pricing of Loom versus Tella. Loom started out as a basic tool that made it very easy to share quick videos to show people something or send a video message. But it has grown to include a lot of AI features. So if you really just needed something very basic to share messages and videos, you could go with the business plan. But if you want to create tutorials, course videos, or other kind of content, you're definitely going to want the Business Plus AI plan. This is the tool you need to use all the AI features, including editing with a transcript. You used to be able to do that in the business plan, but now you need the Business Plus AI plan for that. And that to me is a deal breaker. I need that feature to be able to quickly edit my videos. So if you go with the Business Plus AI plan, it is $20 a month if you subscribe annually. And if you subscribe monthly, which isn't so easy to find on the screen, it's $24 a month. Now let's hop over to Tella. Tella has two plans, a pro plan and a premium plan. For most people, the pro plan is going to be fine. You can record unlimited videos, no matter how long they are. You can use the AI features. You can easily share videos, high quality exports, and you can even collaborate with team members on your videos. The premium plan might be for you if you have a custom channel that needs custom branding. You can get some advanced analytics and advanced security. So if that's something you need, you can go with premium. But I think for most people, the pro plan is going to be fine. The pricing you're seeing on the screen here is the price you would get with my referral link. You can get a discount if you decide you like Tella and want to sign up. And it's $8 a month if you subscribe annually and $13 a month if you subscribe monthly. So Tella is definitely much less expensive than Loom. And I'm going to show you it has all the features of Loom and it's even better. So that's the first reason why I would recommend Tella. It's more affordable than Loom for comparable features. Now let's start looking at the tools, and I'm going to start with Loom. There are a couple different ways you can record in Loom. There is a desktop app and a Chrome extension. They both work the same way. There are a couple different features that are different between the two, so check them out if you decide to use Loom and see which one works better for you, but I'm going to show you the desktop app today. So up here on my recording panel, I can decide what I want to record, either my full screen, just a specific window, a custom part of the screen, or just my camera. I'm going to go with full screen. Here I can turn my camera on or off. I can decide which microphone I want to use. And then down here, I have some effects that I can apply to my camera. Before I get to that, let me point out that the biggest difference between Loom and Tella is that in Loom, you are a camera that's displayed on the screen. You can move yourself around, but wherever you are when you record is where you will be when you play back. And your only option is to be a circle, a small circle, a little bit bigger circle, or you can go full screen. So those are your only camera options in Loom, and everything is recorded together, and so it's all one video stream. Not a lot of options for changing your layouts and formats, but you can add some effects to this little camera over here. So let's go here to effects. Here I have a blur option, not currently available in Tella, so this is a plus for Loom. I can blur the background of that camera there. I can also add a colored background. I always think that looks a little bit distracting because it never quite applies correctly, but that's an option. Then I have some frames that you can apply to the camera. Again, I'm not crazy about these. They're not my style, but they are options. And then there's this canvas that you can apply, which would be the background of your video, kind of like a cheesy PowerPoint. So that is an option as well. So let's turn that off. So those are my effects. I have some speaker notes I can share while I'm recording, and they don't show up on the final video. So that is a nice feature. And then over here under more, I have some settings that I can pick. You can touch up your appearance. You can turn on auto lighting, or you can filter out noise. You can also decide whether to show or hide your recording controls in your video. Then over here on video and audio, one cool feature that is here is to turn on highlight and mouse click. So I'll show you what that looks like. All the other features here are also available in Tella, and they're pretty typical features that you can choose when you're recording videos. So those are my settings. Let me go ahead and start recording. And now I've got my countdown so I can prepare myself, and now I am recording. So the first thing I'll show you is when I click my mouse, I've got that highlight there. Then over here, I've got a couple of other features I can use when I'm recording. I've got a little burst of confetti that I can use anytime I want. And then I also have this tool here that I can use to highlight with a pen on the screen. I've got my mouse click and my highlight going, and those highlights will just disappear after 5 seconds, and I can change the color of them. And then these other features are pretty standard recording features. I've got my ability to pause while I'm recording. I can restart my video and start again, or I can delete the video completely. So now I'm going to click stop because I'm done with my recording. And it is popping me into the video editor so that I can edit my video. So let's take a quick look around the Loom editor so I can show you the main features you would use when editing your video. If I scroll down here under my video preview, I've got a summary that Loom has generated for me that I can update if I need to. And if I had a little bit longer video, I'd have some chapters here that I could edit as needed. Then over here on the right is where I do the majority of my editing. In this first panel here, it's showing me some AI tools that I have available because I'm using the Business Plus AI plan. These are not available in the business plan. I can automatically remove silences from my video and filler words. I can actually turn these back off if I don't like the way they turned out and manually edit it myself. Then I have these stylized captions. If I click play on my video, show you that the stylized captions are purple here. You can't change the color of them, but you can make them purple. And if I turn them off, I can show that they are just gray if I don't have them stylized. So I have a little bit of flexibility here on my caption style. Then the majority of my editing is in here under edit and enhance video. So up here, I can edit my video using the transcript. I can just highlight a sentence and click delete, and that will be deleted from the video. Then down here, I can just edit using what's called a waveform editor because I can see those audio waves. And I can use this and slide the handles to remove parts of the video. I can split this section and then use my handles to delete different parts of the video like this. Again, these are pretty common tools in video editors today. Over here on the right, if I hadn't done the filler words and remove silences up front, I could do them here. Here is a feature where I can add some overlays to highlight things in my video. So I can add text or an arrow or a box. So if I add an arrow, I can drag it up to point to something specific. I can change its size. I can adjust its color. I can adjust its thickness. And then down here, I can decide where I want that arrow to appear in the video and for how long by just dragging these handles here. Then I can add a background to my video. So I added this gradient earlier, but I can change that to be just a solid color, and that updates the background that appears behind my video. So those are the main tools that you're going to use when you are editing your video in Loom. I personally find this editor to be a little bit clunky. I just don't really love the UI, and you'll see the difference when we get into Tella, but it works and you can edit your video here. Now, one more thing I want to show you here is I can edit my transcript itself. So here I can make spelling corrections or remove extra words that got added. So I just click correct, click on a word, and I can update the word or delete it. I cannot add words to this transcript in Loom, which is definitely a drawback because often AI will miss an entire sentence or a word and you want to add that back in, which you cannot do in Loom, but you can correct words and delete them as needed. So that is how you edit a video in Loom. And then when you're ready to share it, you can just click right here to copy a link, or you can click the share button and you have a few different options here to share your video. Another common way to share is this embed code. So you can make it responsive or fixed. I usually go with responsive, and then you can copy the code and paste it into your web page. I do have some pet peeves with the way this embed code works, but we'll get to those later. So that's a quick overview of how you can edit your video in Loom. Let's hop over to Tella and I will show you how that tool works. If you have a Mac, the best way to record your videos in Tella is to use the Mac desktop app. I sadly do not have a Mac. I use a PC, so I can't demo this tool for you. But if you go to the Tella homepage, go to tella.com/Mac, there's a great demo here that shows you how to record in that desktop app. Since I have a PC, I use the web app, which works perfectly fine for me. So let me show you how that works. Here I am in my Tella workspace. It's got all the videos I've been recording all day. And then I go over here and click record, and it hops me into the web app. The web app is super simple to use. I have the option to turn my camera on and off. I have the option to share my screen, either the entire screen or just a tab or a window. I like to share my entire screen because it's very easy to clean it up later. And then when I'm ready, I just click record. I get my little countdown. And then I just hop over to whatever window I want to record. I go ahead and do my recording. This is one of my website templates. I just do a little demo. I do all my talking. And then when I'm done with that, I hop back to my web app and I hit stop and I'm done with my recording. Now notice here that Tella has created a clip for that recording. I can continue to add additional clips to this recording before even going back into the editor. So let's say I've recorded an intro. I can record a second clip here. I can hop back over and record something else. Maybe I go into more detail. I've got some more demos here. And then I go back to my web recorder here and click stop. And now I've got a second clip that's added to my video. This is a great feature so that you can record in little pieces and not have to go back and re-edit again later. When I'm all done with my recording, I click preview and Tella jumps me right into the editor so I can start reviewing and editing my video. Now we're here in the Tella editor, and I'm going to show you all the cool things you can do when you're editing your Tella videos. Notice that I have a video here that has two different clips, and when you have multiple clips in your video, you can drag to rearrange the clips. I could click these three buttons. I can rename it. I can re-record it. I can delete it. I can even copy it to another video. I can duplicate it. So the tool is really flexible when you record your video in pieces with different clips. Now let's hop over here to the cut tool. This is where you're going to do the majority of your editing. And first, I've got all my AI tools. Some are similar to what we have in Loom and some are more robust. So this first tool will find mistakes in your video. This is a brand new tool. Now Tella is proposing some options that I might want to edit. So I can decide whether or not this really is a false start. I can accept or reject that change. And then I can use these arrows to hop to the different mistakes it's found and decide if I agree or don't agree with those mistakes. So that can really help you quickly fix some of the mistakes in your video. So I'm going to click reject all and show you some of the other tools here. This next one will automatically remove the buffers, which are the silences at the beginning and the end of your video. Then we have our tool to remove silences. This is the same tool that we have in Loom, but here I have some options, whether I want my video to sound natural, so it'll leave in a little bit more silences, or I want it to be fast or faster. So you have some options here on how to edit the silences in your video. This is a cool thing that you don't have in Loom. It just takes out your silences. And then down here, we have our tool to remove filler words, which is the same that we have in Loom. So those are your AI tools, similar to Loom, but a bit more robust. Then over here, we have our transcript editor. So I can, just like in Loom, I can go through here, highlight a sentence, and then click delete, and it will remove that from the video. And then down here, I've got my waveform editor. So I can click on a section and I can just drag these handles to remove parts of my video. I can split the waveform editor and remove sections like that. So these features are very similar between Tella and Loom. I personally find this UI to be a bit more pleasing and enjoyable to work in. I just find the Loom UI to be a little bit chunky, but they both work and these features are similar in both tools. So let's take a look at some other features here. This next one is zoom. I can use this feature to zoom into a part of my screen if I really want to call attention to it. So I can click add zoom. I can decide where in my screen I want to zoom into. I can even adjust the scale of my zoom here. And then it's applied my zoom down here. So I can decide how long I want it to zoom for. I may not want it to zoom that long. I can make it be a little bit shorter. And then I can go back and play my video. Start it a little bit later. And then I can go back and play my video, how it looks, and adjust it more if I need to. So that is a cool feature to highlight parts of your video. I'm going to delete that for now. Now let's hop into layouts because this is really what makes Tella stand out. Here, as you can see, I've got a video that has a video and screen share. So I'm going to click layout, and in here is where I have all of these different options to change the layout of your video. With just one click, I can move my camera to the other side. I can change to where I am much bigger on the screen. I can go down to a little rectangle. I can go to the top of my screen. All these different layouts are here that I can choose from. There are also layouts that are just the camera, and I have multiple options here. I like this one because I don't have a great video background. I think it's a little distracting. So I prefer this one myself. And there's even an option here to have Tella automatically apply layouts throughout your video. I'm not going to click this because it'll take a while, but Tella can analyze your video and decide where to change the layouts for you. Very cool. I can also just add different layouts at different parts of the clip. So this entire clip doesn't have to have the same layout. Let's say I go back to a split screen here where I am a rectangle and then the screen. Then at this part of the video, I want to add this layout. And for this section, I want to change my layout to a circle. And I can do that throughout the video. And you've probably noticed as you've been watching this video that my layouts have changed throughout. And that is just such a great feature that you can use to make your videos look really creative and polished. So let's hop back to this one and let me show you how I can add borders to the different sections of my video. So here I can add little shadows. I can put them up on the right if I like, or I can get rid of them. Here I can change the corners to be round or square on my camera and screen. So there's lots of cool things you can do here. I can change the background of my video. I can pick solid colors. I created this gradient myself. You can add a new gradient using your own brand colors. You can also have an image for a background. You can upload any images from Unsplash. You can have an animated background. So this is something similar to what you can do in Loom, but you have a lot more options here. Down here is where I have my options for changing the format of my subtitles. So we saw some stylized options in Loom, but here you have a lot more options to change the formatting of your subtitles. Here is where you can edit your transcript, which is creating those subtitles. So I can go here and I can change this word if that's the wrong word, or I can delete the word. And the really cool thing I can do here is if there is a missing word, so let's go here, and let's say I missed the word friend, I can add it here, which is something you can't do in Loom. You can only delete or change words, you can't add them. And I find that very helpful because AI doesn't always get this right. So I like to be able to change it. So those are your subtitles there. Another great tool we have is that we can crop our screen. So as you can see, when I first recorded this video, I left my browser tabs up here and my bookmark bar, and I wanted to remove that. So you can very easily just remove these parts of your video, and you don't have to worry about making it perfect when you record. There's also a new auto crop feature that will try to crop your video for you, and you have lots of options up here to be very specific about how you crop your screen. I find that extremely helpful because I often forget to turn off my taskbar and I can just crop it out in the video. So those are some of the really cool things you can do in the Tella editor to make beautiful, really creative videos. And then when your video is done, you can share it. You can grab a link. You can set the permissions for that link. You can make it password protected. You can make it only accessible to people in your workspace. You can decide whether you want search engines to be able to find your video. You can set some viewer preferences here. And I have my option here to select my embed code. So if I click this, I have the option to do fixed width or responsive, same as I have in Loom. But here I have an option with just some toggles. I can turn off the title. I can turn off the record your own video. I can turn off the animated preview. And I can also turn off the ability for people to open the video in Tella. So I can just have a nice clean embed, and then I can just copy that code and paste it into my web page, and it's super clean. Now let me show you an example. If I copy a video from Loom and embed it into my web page, it's very messy. It has all this stuff on it. And if I want to get rid of that stuff, I have to go in and update my embed code. I have to start messing with this code. I have to take out part of this link. I have to put other words in place of this link. And I have to do this for every single video. For Tella, I just have to switch these toggles and I grab the code I need. I paste it right into my website and I will show you what it looks like. I have a nice clean video without all the mess on it. So that was one of the reasons I really preferred Tella. In addition to the beautiful layouts, I have very easy embed codes. So that wraps my comparison of Loom versus Tella. I personally have been using Tella for over a year. I find it super easy to create professional creative videos, even though I am not a professional content creator. If you also decide to use Tella, you can use my link below to get 30% off your subscription.